Hi and welcome to SDI Coffee Break, and if you hopefully saw the last one, we're with Sam Gross from Choiceworx. Hi Sam, nice to see you again.
Hello David, nice to see you again.
Good, thank you for joining us. So we got to know you a little bit in the last one, just a bit, and certainly the strongest answer was the bagel, I think, which is absolutely fair. That was absolutely fair. So we're going to get to know you a little bit more, Sam, I think, because I'm really interested in your background, your history, what you're doing now, and why. Okay, so maybe you've got quite a history in outsourcing services, outsourcing providers. Now, as an innovator in that space, in a very very tough area to be in, what's it like working there as the CTO, as the guy who's really looking at innovation? What have you learned maybe career-wise through all that to bring you where you are right now?
Well, I've been fortunate. Technology is my passion. Disruption is my passion. Challenging the status quo has been my passion. But interestingly enough, that's kind of like a contradiction of terms in terms of where I've spent my career. So 20 plus years as CTO for major managed services companies, the likes of Computer Sciences Corporation for 10 years and Unisys for 5 years and Siemens Business Services for a number of years, as well as CompuCom in the US. So I've really been immersed in an industry which is actually about delivery, persistence, consistency, absence of risk, predictability, in the industry which was maybe, I'm going to use this word only to be a little controversial, washed over by ITIL 15 years ago. And so you kind of look at all of those attributes, and it screams to technology leaders, compliance, structure, status quo, try to do the same thing as everybody else, but a little bit better. And when you're deeply in this industry at a leadership position and you're really face to face with your customers are asking you, how are you differentiated? Why are you different? What learnings can you bring to me from the industry and from your experiences that's going to help me be better? What does be better mean? Be better than my competition. My competition? Well, they're using all the other managed services providers, and particularly in the end user space, end user support, device management, heavily outsourced. And so if you really think about the role of a chief technology officer in a company that delivers services, your job is to do the opposite of what people expect you to do. The opposite of Me Too, the opposite of compliance, the opposite of avoiding risk at all costs. Without risk, we know today in our digital world, in our world of digital transformation, whatever that means, that if we don't take risks, we don't take enough risks, perhaps we need to fail fast, but if we don't do it, we're standing still. And so, my career has been really driven by two words: what if? What if we could do this? What if we could do that? And so through that, I describe my 20 plus years in the career probably with three major bullet points. Number one, I've been in pursuit of autonomous IT automation for my whole career. Number two, I believe in the what if and the fail fast. And so as a result, throughout my career, I've launched 16 products for the companies that I've worked for. Some of those stuck for years and they're still kind of part of the companies that I worked for many years ago in one shape, form, or another. Others ultimately failed. 2009, as an example, launched the Unisys Secure Cloud using some military-grade security techniques that really made it secure. Was that what the industry really wanted and didn't want? Well, time told us that that was not necessarily what they were looking for, but at the end of the day, we had great innovation and delivered some really amazing things. In endpoint or end user support and device management, I've launched multiple generations of products using everything from the earliest days of Netcom, Unicenter, Tivoli, to cloud-based bus architectures with orchestrators, to some of the latest AI techniques. And then finally, third, I've really led myself and the companies that I work for really on a path that said that the traditional thinking of selecting technology products that are commercial technology, commercial off-the-shelf technology products that exist, and integrating them in different combinations in order to compete in the managed services business was not a formula to success. It was not a formula for differentiation. It simply meant that you selected something that your competition could select, and then and therefore within 6 months, if you had any differentiation, that differentiation was eroded. And so I've really kind of driven myself to think, what is it that these tools and technologies ultimately do? How do you do that natively? And how do you do that in a way that truly creates differentiation? So those have really been the three guideposts for me in my career.
I mean, and you're absolutely right. You know, you mentioned ITIL, and I want, maybe we'll ask a question later about the relationship between risk, ITIL, and innovation. Right? Maybe if we can squeeze that in, because that's a big question on its own, right? And I'd love to know your views on that. And also those 3 points as well. And yeah, the vanilla aspect of the safety of vanilla. So if you're in that, if you've got 6 or 7 major ISPs or outsourcing organizations, the vanilla aspect is sort of, that's what the safety is. So if we're the same, all we got to be is cheaper. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit of a weird sort of, yeah, it's a bit of a weird concoction, isn't it? You know what I mean? Weird, but anyway, we can come on to that. But I was going to ask you, Sam, right? Because you mentioned the CTO role there. And I was interested in your thoughts on the CTO role, right? Because there's a lot of talk about the CEO responsibility relationship, the CIO, the CTO, the CFO, their relationship, and who wants what, who gets what, right? What is a CTO in 2021 and beyond? You know, if you look at the old school sort of internal hard infrastructure development management, and now we've got cloud services and solutions, we've got ecosystems and stuff. What does a CTO mean in 2021?
I think you ask a great question, because if you go across and you talk to 10 CTOs and you ask them to describe their job, you won't hear a common definition. I believe, though, there is a common definition. But I believe that common definition is not a definition, but a core competency. That core competency is an individual's capability to actually understand the fundamentals of technology, not the packaging of that, not the marketing, not the external positioning, but how does technology work? What are the true advances? Advances in technology is not a new product was presented, but a new mechanism of data representation was refined in the marketplace and it's now available. New sets or refined sets of historical algorithms and mathematical techniques that we're applying in AI have now been proven to be material in new use cases, the mechanisms around communications and protocols. Now, all of that kind of sounds like, who cares? What's the outcome? But those are each the musical notes that a CTO can assemble on a sheet of music in order to create an outcome. And I believe that that core competency is not only your ability to understand that. It is not only your ability to be able to put them on a piece of paper in a way that you've established, a beautiful piece and appropriate harmonics and a beginning and an end. But more importantly, a CTO must have the competency to be able to take this and turn that into a narrative that business users and customers understand, and understand not only in terms of how it works, because sometimes that's important, but in terms of how it will make people's lives better. How will it make your day-to-day existence in the workplace less frustrating, more productive?
Yeah.
That's my view.
I think that's really cool, and certainly it answers that question, I think, really well. And I like the analogy as well with the orchestration from service perspective in music. I like that. That's really good. That's really good. It's a really good answer. I think we'll close on that one. I think Sam on this one. So thank you for that. So what are we going to do in the next one? Let's have a little look. We're going to talk in the next one about the industry, about the support proposition, how that's changing, and again, get your view on that, what that sort of actually means as we go forward. So Sam, thank you for your time. Look, thank you for our listeners as well, and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.